I can't talk about the global Sea Shepherd, but here in Brazil, it's a t-shirt company that uses environmental BS to sell t-shirts, and they do stupid actions, and they can't defend. So this one time, so argument for you guys, this one time there was a marine park manager convention. So an auditorium with 200 marine park managers and assistant marine park managers, and of course they did not invite me to speak on stage, but they had a moment for the yacht club representative or something like that. So I got on stage, grabbed the microphone, and said, when I got on stage, half of the audience was grumpy already, because the ones that knew me got, grumpy looking at me, and then they poked the next guy and said, look, this is the guy that kills fish for a living. So talk about a hostile environment. It was that audience. So I grabbed the microphone. I didn't say, I'm happy to be here, or good afternoon, nothing like that. I just said off the bat, do you guys agree with me that all fish can be caught legally or illegally? And then the grumpy crowd nodded their head. They agreed with me. Do you guys agree with me that all fish can be caught sustainably or unsustainably in the lake? So now please raise your hand. Who here can say that they only eat fish caught legally and sustainably? And I raise my hand. And none of the tree huggers can say that, because they have no clue where their fish comes from. Mm. So who's the problem? And then I put the mic down and I left. There's no way. There's coherently, only a person that believes that humans should not eat fish from the ocean can legitimately, coherently argue against spearfishing. Mm. If you accept that humans can eat fish from the ocean, you cannot be against spearfishing. Mm. Because it's by far the most sustainable. It's not the most sustainable. There's a catch to it. And people love to say, oh, spearfishing, it's the most sustainable. It's the most selective. Mm. But being selective is not necessarily good. Mm. If I'm only targeting baby groupers, I'm being super selective. Mm. But I'm not being sustainable. Mm. So spearfishing is as sustainable as the person pulling the trigger. It gives the spear fisherman an opportunity to do the most sustainable fishing in the planet, but you have to want to exercise this selectiveness.
I like what you did there. You got the audience to engage with some of the core ideas, and you did it very quickly. And you got engagement. Like you had a representation, so everyone was able to connect with the ideas you were purveying. There are a portion of these people, and Sea Shepherd are one of them. And don't. I'm not denigrating them completely. Like, they've done some awesome stuff in our world. Like some of them have got massive hearts, and they want to help the environment. They want to help whales and stuff like this. And some of their causes are really honourable, and they've done some good work. But one of their core values is that there should be no fishing, none. They do not believe that any form of taking fish is sustainable, and humans should have nothing to do with the oceans, pretty much. We should barely be allowed to even travel across them and observe stuff, let alone catch fish in them. They're completely anti-fishing. And a lot of these environmentalists, they live in an ivory tower where they think that the less fishing, the better. And they completely denigrate all forms of fishing. I connect with your idea, and I think, we are 100% sustainable if we make the right choices, because we are 100% selective. There's zero bycatch, and we can do the right thing. And I like seeing people connect with the natural environment. And I think you've got the same thing. It's like, there's nothing cooler than taking something out of the ocean and preparing it for your family and putting it in front of them. You can tell them everything about it. And when you start to learn about, the ecosystem, the species you're taking, the impact they have when they're taken or removed, it makes you a conservationist, which is why I can understand at 50 years old, your ideas are completely different than they were from when you were 27 years old. You've gone on a journey.
Well put. And it's true. We live today in a world of a conflict between what sounds good and what actually is good. Facts against narrative. And this, we shouldn't eat fish from the ocean. Not only it's not, viable. We'll have mass starvation, but it harms us. It really harms us. And I'll show you how. And I had this debate on stage with Sylvia Earle. So
Awesome.
yeah, so she was on the stage and she said, basically, humans shouldn't eat fish from the ocean. She's my hero. Okay, I love her.
Yeah.
And how can somebody shoot a grouper? And then I go on stage and said, oh, I bought my car and my boat shooting groupers, you know? So, but I said, look, first, it's not viable. We humans need the protein from the ocean. So wishing, oh, the way to save the ocean is stop eating fish, it's not going to happen. Let's find something that maybe doesn't sound as good, but is realistic. Okay. And second, every single marine no fishing zone, oh, how beautiful. Every no fishing zone is an illegal fishing paradise. Every no fishing zone gets constantly raped by illegal fishermen. The only thing that can stop, and this is not a theory, solitary islands in Coff Harbor, but Cerralvo in Mexico, and I have plenty of Block Island in New York. The only way to stop illegal fishing is an intense activity of sport fishing. So the idea that, oh, we're going to have a closed zone that nobody's going to fish, that's not going to happen. So you have two alternatives. Or you're going to have illegal fishing, or you're going to have regulated, smart sport fishing. And part of the way I make a living with spearfishing, I do guided trips. Something I started doing late. I do only for a few people. I'm worried about being responsible for people in the water. That's why I don't want to teach and give lessons, but I do some guided trip and people hire me to shoot cool fish around the world. And it's kind of what a captain of a national spearfishing team does. We're dropped at some random place each year in the world, and we have to find the coolest fish. So in a way, I'm a cool fish specialist. And where do I find cool fish? Only 2 places in the planet have cool fish. Can you guess? First answer is, protected areas. No. Protected areas don't have cool fish. They have a bunch of pretty, small, colorful fish. But the nice, cool, expensive fish are gone, whacked by illegal fishermen that go there January 1st. They go there on Christmas. They go at the Super Bowl game day, and they're going to find their way. Cool fish are in only 2 places in the planet. Some remote place that nobody goes, and these days, these spots are each day harder to find, less and less, or in a place where you have intense sport fishing, where people pay licenses that finance surveillance.
Yep.
Yeah, you have local business, and you have an industry that thrives with these fish. So money talks, bullshit walks. So if usually you make more money destroying the ocean. If you have intense sport fishing, you make more money preserving the ocean. So the money is going to be preserved by the invisible hand of the market. So if you have intense sport fishing, you have people paying licenses. You have people occupying these spots and scaring or making illegal fishing unviable. Scuba people go at a set time, at a set day, and they're easy to avoid. But sport fishermen will go when it's cold, when it's rainy, when there's a Super Bowl, when it's January 1st and they didn't celebrate New Year's Eve, so they can fish alone. So they're going to be there when the illegal fishing is going to be there. And one more thing, sport fishing at the end of the day employs as guides the people that otherwise would be doing the illegal fishing.
Yeah.
So it's the magic formula, and it works. There are plenty of examples across the world. So going back to the day I made this argument in the stage with Dr. Earle, she left halfway, and then we had a break for lunch. Guess what they served for lunch at this big event? Groupers.
Oh, wow.
So let's stick to what's working, and not so much the pretty speech, but the factual.